This is Gabriel, custodian of Watchman Privacy. I know why you're here. You're looking to escape the technocratic apparatuses that you see slowly enveloping you and restraining your freedom. For the fundamentals of privacy, you should start by visiting escapethetechnocracy.com to see my video tutorials, books, and other resources for getting off the surveillance grid. Watchman Privacy and Escape the Technocracy are leading the fight for privacy, and unlike just about any other show, we practice what we preach. Private payment options, no threat modeling, no statist or collectivist solutions, and no sponsors, ever. You know what that means? It means we can speak the unmitigated truth as we see it. Your support alone determines the future of this show. Go support you and me at escapethetechnocracy.com.
This is probably the most intense game I've played in my life. If you post a screenshot of your base, they're gonna triangulate you based on the position of the cloud. I don't mean the cloud as in cloud computing. No. I mean the cloud above you, that you see in the screenshot, the actual, the visual of it. It's wild, it's intense, and it's probably one of the most hardcore game I ever played. You could spend hours and hours in a faraway place that you think is safe, that nobody discovered, building your mansion and spending hours and hours crafting it. You post a screenshot of it on like Reddit or somewhere, and then the next day it's gone. It's burned to the ground because people find it. And the way they find it is very smart. They triangulated your position with the pattern they see on the image. It's a hardcore game.
Welcome to Watchman Privacy Torchlight Chats. This is a special mini-series on video games and their unexpected influence on the world. As usual, I'm joined by Urban. And Urban, you've spent some time in the video game Minecraft, especially this server that you mentioned, the 2B2T server. First thing I'm going to have you do is explain what the heck is going on in this game and in this server.
If you have the game Minecraft, you probably have played it, but you most likely barely scratched what this game can do, what other people can do with this game. And probably the deepest part of this rabbit hole that you can reach is the infamous, the oldest Minecraft Anarchy server called 2B2T. And if you want to play this game on this server, you need to raise your cybersecurity serious. I just watched now, and apparently there is a new bug where you can duplicate items without crafting them. And of course, it's weaponized on 2B2T as we speak. I mean, probably unless you have been living on a rock and the Wi-Fi reception is bad behind the rock, you know what Minecraft is, right? It's this, block building game where you can just place and remove cubes on a very basic level. And it's actually a very old game now. It was created in 2009 by one guy. And as we alluded to last time, if you remember, our last episode was about Joe Fortress, and Minecraft is kind of like the 3D version of that game on a very, very basic level. And what Marcus, the creator of Notch, is known as Notch, wanted to do is a 3D version of Joe Fortress. And then it went on to make a game on his own. And yeah, so player can create together. It's you can play it solo, but most people play it with friends. And you can create your own server and just play with a family and friend and build things. And that's where most people stop at, And there are more layers to this. There is like the darker side, which is, gamblings with the credit card of your mom, because some of those servers, they are like very, very shady, where they have like slot machine mechanics and you can like have rare items which is basically gambling. And with microtransaction, you spend money to try to get it. Okay, so you have the family friendly, which is you play with like friend and family. You create a server in your basement and you play with your friend at the end of school. Then there is the slightly darker aspect of it, which is like commercial server that are made with like tournaments and prizes and things like this, often gambling and incentivizing young people to gamble and spend money by using, their mom's credit card. And then there is 2B2T, which is the oldest Anarchy server on Minecraft that has been running almost continuously and was never reset, which is also another important aspect of it. Because most of those servers, after a while, they just, pull the plug, create a new world, a new version, and they start all over, which destroy everything. As you mentioned, Gabriel, all your items are tied to this one particular server, and if you reset it, then it starts again. But in the case of 2B2T, that is not the case. It stays within the server as long as the server is kept running.
So you joined 2B2T, new player, never been there before. Walk us through what you can expect in your first 10 minutes of being there.
What you need to know is this is a server that is like Anarchy, as in there is no rules. Most Minecraft servers have tons of rules, like don't do this, do that, and sometimes you have like bossy admins. And in the case of 2B2T, the admin called Housemaster, he is very
laissez-faire.
Yeah, laissez-faire. Well, to a certain extent, as we're going to discuss, because they are like, he basically allows anything, but this also means you have no protection. So usually the experience that happen is there are so many people playing this server that you're gonna spend hours in the queue waiting for a slot for you. And the way the server earns money to keep it running is by having a priority where you basically pay some money and you can skip this waiting time, which is around $20 a month. So if you go through this, and sometimes it takes like 11 hours to go through the queue. And if you disconnect, you need to redo it all over again. And once you're in there, it is a complete waste. It's like an atomic war happen. It doesn't look like Minecraft. It's basically a large empty space with huge like rock formation that are like blasts from the past, that are like ruins from ancient structure. You have like giant mountains that were like casted. So it's called the lava cast, where you create like with lava, you can create like giant artificial mountains to destroy everything below. For thousands and thousands of blocks in every direction, it's this half empty, half barren wasteland. So you probably are going to die lots and lots of time, or you're gonna get in a jail, which is where people like build a structure around you. And if you have the vanilla Minecraft client, which is like the one you download officially, then you just need to die from starvation because you cannot kill yourself. And if you jump, that is slightly faster. So now you have to jump for like several minutes in real life time before you eventually die. Or you do like everybody else is doing, you use a hacked client, which enable things like killing yourself to respawn and start again. So this is the experience, like, as we said, this is not for like your typical, family-friendly game. This is a completely different level, I would even go as far as to say it's a different game. When you arrived, you have like giant structure in the sky, like giant swastika and like all sorts of weird sign, like Freemason and pyramids in the sky. In the chat itself, I would recommend that you just disable it because you're going to have all sorts of like spam and graphics, like ASCII art porn and things like this. Insult, and this is designed that if you live stream it and you don't disable it, you get like kicked out of YouTube. So if you look at Let's Play on YouTube, most of them, they either censor the chat or they blur it, or they just disable it. Below your feet there is nothing Everything was destroyed in long forgotten wars. And again, this is, your first hour in the game. You cannot really go out of this place easily. It requires some serious dedication to just get out and find like a tree or like just resource. Most people die from starvation, not because they are like closed in a tiny cell, in a tiny jail, but because they just cannot escape this place. And there are no resources for like thousands of blocks in every direction.
You talked about the anarchy, people ending up in prison. It's not because they're magically transported that you have people called griefers who are there to abuse especially the new people.
It's like a rite of passage to escape this place, which I've done several times. It's not impossible, but it requires like, the first time I did it, it required me like 4 hours to get out of there. So it is like, it is an endeavor. And by default, you have zero respect in that game and you earn it because you survive long enough to earn it. Most items that people value in Minecraft have zero value in 2B2T. Like most value item you will find is a fishing rod so that you can fish with water, not die of hunger. This is how you survive because, if you find a lake, you can, just fish and eat. And this is going to be like creating a fishing rod is like the most important thing. A traditional thing like monster, spiders, creepers, etc. They are not really like, there are so many people connected to the server that most of those creatures don't spawn because the game is trying to run it at a smooth frame rate. So it disables a lot of those things. This is like the thing. Now, one way you can get out of there faster is to go in the Nether. And Nether, it's the world below. And if you play Minecraft, you can create portals, like a magical portal, and then world below it, you travel faster. For every meter that you do below, you are like 8 meters in above. And this is a good way to escape. However, the Nether is a dangerous place in Minecraft because you have, it's like the world below. So you have like lavas and pits and stuff. And on 2B2T, it's even worse. It's all of this plus, the people trying to kill you, the, giant void left by ancient explosion. Again, it's the same thing as above, but you have now lava and more people trying to kill you. And this highway system, it's called the Nether highway system. And there is like a guild that is like responsible to like fixing it and maintaining it. It is like a common structure for everybody playing the server. But it is also a place where you have like most people use it because it's the highway. So it is also incredibly dangerous because anyone will like just kill you on spot. I mean, there are no rules, right? So they might just, give some food or kill you, depending. A pro tip for anyone like looking to join and look for yourself, begging, it won't work. It just won't. If you start begging, people will just kill you even more and try to find where you are. It's really different from your traditional Minecraft. And we barely scratch the surface. We are not yet at the place where, people are going to triangulate where you are based on the position of flowers on your screen.
You might be thinking, well, this seems like, what the heck? Why would people be interested in this? Who is doing this? But Minecraft is the best-selling video game of all time. Okay, by a large margin. More than 300 million people have purchased this game, and a lot of them will end up, or some of them will end up on 2B2T, this Anarchy server. You said, Urban, that it's Anarchy as in no rules. Sure, but people do join this. People do enjoy being part of this world, and there are rules, as in people can make rules for their own little location. So it's also Anarchy in the sense that it's creative destruction. It's spontaneous, pure spontaneity. Why would people be interested in even joining this to begin with?
So most Minecraft servers are full of rules to the point that it's boring. You can't do that. You have this, you have that. You have an hour where you can go and kill people. Then you have an hour where it's just so many things. And again, it's a video game. No one gets harmed in real life. Now you have other Anarchy server. But the appeal of 2B2T is that it's Anarchy plus it's running continuously without interruption and without a reset of the world. And I think this is the most important, is that if you join a random Minecraft server, tomorrow it might be gone. Tomorrow it might reset. Some server every 2 weeks, it just create a new one. And everything you built in there will be destroyed because it reset. But on 2B2T, just like on planet Earth, it gets added to the collective history of the server. So even if you go in a faraway land in that server, you put a sign and you say, hello, I was there. Someone, 2 years later might find this sign and will find a trace of you. And, we are in a world, and when I mean the world, I mean the actual, real life, where there is no meaning anymore. People are lost. People don't, what impact do you have on the world? Very tiny, almost non-existent, You sent me the other day, too young to explore the world.
Too early to explore the universe, too late in history to actually explore the world we live in.
But perfect to manage Google Calendar and LinkedIn.
Right. A lot of people don't have jobs. These people end up on 2B2T for sure.
Actually, you could make a living on 2B2T. I'm pretty sure some people have, as mercenary or something. But anyway, so what's left, right? And on 2B2T, everything can be destroyed, everything can be created. But as you said, there is some of the most beautiful image you have seen of Minecraft, like cathedral, churches, castle, mansion. They actually come from this server because people have this drive, and maybe it's going to be destroyed, maybe not. And it's part of the, when I was playing on 2B2T, I joined the server around 2018, and then I played up until 2022, something like this. I always played it solo, as in I was not part of a guild, or I would just explore. And you would find, old structure that is like remnants of wars, and people struggle to defend it and others try to attack it. And you could see all this history. It's like being Indiana Jones on Minecraft. And this was real history, not like real as in, you don't find this in other server. If you join a server, it's going to be all clean. All is going to be nice and tidy. And you're going to have at 10 p.m., it's the Anarchy time. And then you join this other server where people fight, and then you go back. And on 2B2D, it's just, no, stuff happens. And maybe my base is still there. Maybe if I join the server today, I could find it, and maybe it's still there. Maybe it survived. Maybe it was incorporated into something bigger, I have places that I've had, it's like a prepper. I had to hide stuff and all of those things. The appeal is that it is like it's live. You feel alive from it. You feel that you're doing something that is part of a greater project. And all in all, people have created 60 terabyte of data. This is the size of this server, is 60 terabyte. And if you look, the image we choose of this podcast for this episode, it's this weird black and white image. Now, this is a heat map of the highway system of 2B2T. Everything people have created, most of what people have created is in this image. This image represents the server itself. So my base is probably a pixel somewhere deep down, and you can see clearly the highway spreading from the center. And the center is this hellish place that we described, this very, very chaotic place. And then it's stretched into every north, south, west, and east in every direction. And if you go in every direction that you go, there's going to be remnant ruins, people that struggle. There is giant ocean to be explored. And maybe someone went there in the past and did something there, and you can find it. It is just, I remember when I joined, they were a small pumpkin lot near a highway. And I watched a YouTube video explaining, and then I went, and half of it was destroyed and the other half was still there. I was like, you felt part of the same world. It's just, I have to say, every time I think about 2B2T, despite the hacking, despite the craziness, despite the fact that if you take a screenshot of your creation, people are going to triangulate you and destroy it, I have a lot of nostalgia for those moments.
I'm sure you do. A lot of people have ended up in this server. A lot of people use Minecraft for things just beyond playing the game, right? Architects use it. It's been used for city planning. People want to build stuff. They can do it within Minecraft. You can film. You can have films within Minecraft. And if our audience, Urban, remembers the story of the people who went on the crypto torturing spree, that's in our episode, how using a KYC crypto exchange might get you tortured. Those people actually met within Minecraft. So it's actually a whole community, isn't it?
Yes. But I think the 2B2T is like a community within a community. I mean, every server is like this, but this one is unique, in that regard. This one is unique. And, it had several real world implications. Like maybe people remember Log4j. So Log4j was like a serious cybersecurity vulnerability in Java that was affecting basically every Java program out there. And you could exploit them and do all sorts of nasty, nasty things. Now, Minecraft, the Java edition, as its name indicates, uses Java. So, of course, this was weaponized on 2B2T. And actually, this enabled people to hack the actual server, the Linux computer that is running the game itself, to then take over. And there have been like cryptographers playing the game, finding vulnerability that then went released on the wider public, that stem from this basically like what most people would describe like this toxic community of people. But they're like so smart and they have so much time and they're so dedicated to the server that they will find all sorts of vulnerability. And in the end, Log4j had to be patched worldwide in the real world after being exploited on Minecraft for a video game, which is crazy. I think, Gabriel, you also had this episode with Jeffrey Snyder, Darknet Diaries, where it's like how hackers start hacking, and like video game were like a big part of it. And here you have, this like fun exploit that is first used in a video game that then spread out in the real world and forces companies to patch their server, which is wild if you think about it. 5 minutes ago when we started recording, I did a quick search about 2B2T, and there is a new exploit where you can duplicate items in Minecraft. And the first video on YouTube was how it is being weaponized on 2B2T. Of course it is, right? Of course it's going to be weaponized on 2B2T.
2B2T, obviously you get enough people. It's just like a city, right? Enough people who visit with each other for enough time with some tools at their disposal. They're going to come up with some ideas. They're going to create gangs. They're going to create real world connections. They're going to just create all sorts of things. Did you say that there was also that 2B2T also contributed to Google Maps in some way?
It contributed to a lot of things. Like in this game, you need to get out of the central point of the game as fast as you can to get in a safe place without too many people trying to kill you, and to be in a place that was never explored before, so that no one has a screenshot to then like go and get you. So one thing you can do is use a path finding, which is like finding a path in the Minecraft world to go from point A to point B, because Minecraft is like real life. You have roads. In 2B2T, you have highways, and you have, obstacles, and you have all of this. And I think an engineer at Google, I would need to search for this to make sure, but they use basically Minecraft dataset to test their algorithm to path find and to try to get out of 2B2T. So they had like automated players going in there, trying to escape this hellhole to find their, homestead place, using algorithm to find the best way to get out unsupervised. And I think when this was tested, they had like 1,000 fake player going in the real server and each trying to get out. and they had like a success rate of like 90% in like 2 hours. And most new player, when they join, it's like 4 hours to get out of the first location, to give you an idea. So it's just incredible. There was another research project. Now, this one is a bit more geeky, but remember when you play Minecraft, there is, in the original edition of Minecraft, there is a screenshot showcasing the game. And it's basically a tree with some flowers and the sky. Now remember, 2B2T are with people that will, based on the screenshot that you do, will find where you are. But what if you could do the other way around, which is based on the screenshot you have, reverse engineer the seed to find what was the original place in the first place? Now, when Moshung made, the creator of Minecraft, the studio that Notch created, made the screenshot, what they did was starting the game, taking a screenshot, ending the game. And now the seed, just like in Bitcoin, the seed phrase is gone. But you have like the fingerprint of this seed, which is this screenshot. So a community of people started to crunch number on GPU to find what was the original seed that was used to create this iconic Minecraft screenshot that everybody has seen if they play the game. And they found it. And they found it because the yellow flowers, I think, have a specific pattern that you can reverse engineer and that you can find. And this is equivalent to, out of a Bitcoin address, finding the seed. Now, in the case of Minecraft, the creator never wanted to be it like cryptographically secure. Like they didn't try to make it secure, because who cares? Like before 2B2T, nobody cared if you can, out of a screenshot, get the position and the seed. So there was no precaution taken to stop this. However, it's still an incredible achievement that is not trivial to do. And you could say, well, what for it, right? Of course, this is just, you could say it's just for a game. But again, when you think about the real life implications, like for instance, finding better algorithm to navigate the real world and trying them in Minecraft, that is suddenly very, very interesting. So you have like tons of those stories of, and of course, more specifically to Minecraft, every time there is a bug in Minecraft, it's going to be used and abused on 2B2T. And don't think managing this server, like Housemaster, the guy behind this, he is a bit like anonymous. We don't really know who the guy is. But he also has like, it is not easy to manage a server like this, because you have like a wild community of very creative people that take this game probably too seriously. And the amount of people who design on purpose structure called lag machine in order to slow down the server and to force him to reboot it. Like, think about this.
How would you make a lag machine?
So you need to study the game. Like, you need to think about like the game and what takes a lot of time and research to render, like what takes a lot of RAM. And it appears that, in Minecraft, you can have pistons that push stuff. So you can have like machines, like hydraulic machines and things like this. And what they found is that the sand falls like in real life, So if you put a cube of sand, it's going to fall down. Now, what if you create a column with ton and ton of cube of sand, and then you push them up and down, back and forth? If you do this, the computer has to keep track of every cube of sand, the position of them, back and forth, times, 20, if you do this 20 times. And if you do this at a very, very big scale, this will slow down the game tremendously. So this is a very simplified version on how people did it. The server was hacked many, many times. People, tried to phish Housemaster. They reported his PayPal account massively for fraud. so that at a certain point he got like his income shut down. And this is an expensive server to run, like people don't like to pay for things, but this is like 60 terabyte of data that you need to keep available. And basically anyone can go in the server and explore any chunks of it. So it is like a complicated, I let you go on Amazon and search for like 60 terabyte of SSD storage to give you an idea of what type of machine it requires to run. So it is like a challenge for him to run. But to this day, he's pretty, I would say he only banned a few individual. Like it's very rare, but he did ban people. But it's like if you abuse, yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because, there are like drama behind the scene that, people don't know. But for most of the time, he never banned anyone, including people who made lag machine and hacked the server and all of this.
So you can actually use Minecraft as a way to communicate with other people, to collaborate. We already know that it is used for nefarious purposes, and it can get around certain censorship, let's say in your region, your country, maybe your Discord channel, something like this. It's actually a pretty ingenious way to get around this kind of stuff, just talking and communicating within Minecraft, isn't it?
During the pandemic, the company where I was working at the time made a Minecraft server so that we could plan our meeting in Minecraft because people find it more fun to do it in Minecraft than in Zoom. So yeah, you can totally do that. And we did it for like serious corporate usage. And then I would go and play 2B2T. No, but we actually had a small group of people that are like pushed to play 2B2T with me. There is a Reporter Without Border that created the uncensorable library that contains books that are censored in countries. And this is a Minecraft server that anyone can visit. So if you can play Minecraft, it's likely that you can access it.
So if a book is banned in your country, maybe even the internet's censored, like in China, you could still find this Minecraft server and access this information. Is that the idea?
But potentially, yeah. Now, I think in China, they have their own Minecraft version.
As you can imagine, there are a lot of people who complain about 2B2T. A couple video game journalists have called it the worst server in Minecraft. Obviously, the Cult of Safety do not like 2B2T.
Yeah, in our previous episode, we said that we add safety in games where literally no one is hurt by definition because it's a virtual environment, which is crazy. Mainstream media don't like 2B2T. Yeah, because it goes against everything they strive for. It's this messy, unsupervised, people left on their own. And the thing is, this kind of proved that if you leave people on their own, yeah, I mean, of course, you have, the giant swastika above the sky and all of those things. But on the other side, you have, cathedral are being built. Like people do amazing things, mansion, castles, cities, bases. And, in most cases, it's not destroyed, which is also the thing. You can go and destroy anything you want in this game, but most people don't do it. I mean, of course, everybody who played will probably destroy something. I've done it myself. It's kind of fun, but it's fun for a day or so. And then you move on and you try to do things and people collaborate. There were things like trying to reach the South Pole of Minecraft, together. Challenges like this, or trying to create the biggest construction ever made in Minecraft. There were like all sorts of challenges that people did. It goes against basically this whole, global homo safety thing, and people love it. People love it. I think most advocate of, this safetyism cult and this whole global homo woke thing, if they would stop the censorship in the real world, they would find that most people find this stupid and they want to live in a freer world, and you see this, the other day in a newspaper that I'm reading sometime, there was a bug in the moderation software. And guess what? It turned out very 2B2T very quickly because people are sick of this, and it's probably one of the reasons that it appeals so much to players. Now, if you want to try it out, I would strongly recommend to be very careful. Potentially do this on a dedicated machine. Be careful with the hacked client that you install, because you have fake hack clients which have the purpose to like either destroy your computer or destroy your Minecraft base and explore it for yourself. And to this day, you can download the vanilla client and just log in and join. You're gonna have a hard time without hacks, but maybe you want a more raw experience.
And we couldn't talk about the cult of safety and the technocracy without mentioning that in 2014, Minecraft was purchased by Microsoft. So Notch sells out in 2014 to Microsoft for $2.5 billion. It's actually, it turns out, worth even more than that. But he sells out. And I think you even had some trouble after Microsoft acquired it. Tell the story about the Microsoft era of Minecraft.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. So the good, I mean, Microsoft continued to improve Minecraft and add new feature. The bad is they try to add this to their Microsoft ecosystem and always connected Windows account and Microsoft account and Skype account and all those accounts merged together. And the writing was on the wall, and I remember when I was playing 2B2T, some people were thinking that Microsoft would eventually ban 2B2T, that 2B2T would be destroyed not by the player hacking the server, not by Housemaster throwing the towel, but actual, just Microsoft not allowing it. And to give credit to Microsoft, I don't find 2B2T dark, because people who go there, they know what they're going into. It's the oldest Anarchy server after all. But there are, other server that promote gambling among young people and children that I think is disgusting. And there is a very toxic community. I have a problem with that. I don't want to have gambling promoted. If you're a parent, I totally understand that. The reason why I don't put 2B2T in the same category is when you join an Anarchy server, you know what you're into. It's an Anarchy server after all. So that's like, and slowly Microsoft started to like push people to migrate their accounts. I am what you would call an old fag, on the server. I didn't do it. I refused. And eventually I got an email that told that my Minecraft account that I had since ages and ages ago, full of, histories and things that I've done on the server, was basically gone. I have to say, when I got this email, I got a bit of nostalgia, catharsis that everything I did is now gone. And maybe if you play the server, there is still my base somewhere, remnants. I don't know. I didn't check. I would need to buy Minecraft again and try to escape.